But beyond that, it is illegal to get an abortion in South Dakota today. You know, I was raised by a family, by a dad that said, we don't complain about things.
Shh. We're going to talk about abortion.
Governor, you used the word enforcement. What does enforcement look like in South Dakota, for example, for a doctor that has a telemedicine conversation with a patient about abortion and how to get the procedure?
Yeah, we had a bill that I brought forward that outlawed telemedicine abortions. And today, if a doctor did facilitate medication either over the internet or over the phone to allow a woman to get an abortion, it would be a felony. And it wouldn't be enforced here in the state of South Dakota.
What about for the patient, the woman involved? Is there any kind of legal consequence, or do you believe there should be?
No, there's no punishment for any women in these situations.
That's the governor of South Dakota doing a clever end around on abortion in her state. She signed legislation opposing a woman's right to choose, but that was just the beginning. She will charge doctors, not women, with a felony for performing an abortion, a felony for giving women pills to end a pregnancy, a felony for advising women on abortion, whether it's in person or over the phone, and a felony for even discussing abortion with anyone. We'll get back to that.
All of the enforcement mechanisms rest on the doctor that knowingly and willingly violates the law. There is no punishment for a woman that is in this situation.
Noem says she doesn't plan on prosecuting women who get abortions because they won't be able to obtain a legal abortion anywhere in South Dakota. Illegal abortions, however, will occur with the expected consequences, including death and severe injury to women, most of whom live below the poverty line.
Well, I think that our law is appropriate today. It's what the people of this state support and really do believe.
So Noem says that people in her state support the felony charges for anyone who helps someone get an abortion, including simply informing a woman of her constitutional rights to her own body. But look, choice isn't about the majority consensus. A majority of Americans believe in all sorts of crazy shit. A majority of Americans in various states across this country over the last 50 years have favored laws against interracial marriage, laws against minorities voting, laws against black children in white schools, black people in white restaurants, black people in swimming pools, black elected officials. Many of these same states allowed companies to force women to marry just to get a credit card, to get a loan, to have to wear a dress in order to be employed. But things are better today, right? Well, Missouri just passed a law forcing women in the state legislature to have to cover their arms. A 10-year-old child who was raped in Ohio and became pregnant had to travel from Ohio to another state to get an abortion.
You know, a lot of people talk and say a lot of things to grab headlines and make broad statements.
Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Alabama have all introduced bills that would prevent women from leaving the state for medical procedures, and 13 states want to make it a capital offense, punishable by death, for a woman or a doctor to participate in an abortion.
I prefer to take action and to do things that actually protect life.
But the real danger here is Noem and her frontier legislature telling physicians they can't even discuss abortion options with women, can't even tell them where they can go to get a legal procedure.
Facilitate medication either over the internet or over the phone, it would be a felony.
Noem wants to appear to support women by attacking the medical community, but the law says differently. If a woman orders an abortion pill and it's sent to her from another state, South Dakota will prosecute the woman, charging her with a felony and prison time. And the so-called support of women by denying them access to medical care, an abortion is 10 times safer for a woman than carrying a fetus to term. And in poorer communities, such as the majority of the indigenous population of South Dakota, the number can go as high as 20 times more dangerous.
So I'm not convinced that I need to run for president, but I also believe that this country needs somebody to lead us that has a vision.
It is not without irony that on the 50th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, we find ourselves not moving forward in a world with unparalleled access to science and information, but instead down a rabbit hole of fear, teetering on the edge of an Orwellian future. Laws against abortion are laws against women, but we're still in the first act of this horror show. If South Dakota can tell you what you can and cannot discuss, and if the courts support their right to do so, then the Handmaid's Tale will look like a trip to Disneyland. Abortion is just the beginning. Should this same Supreme Court decide that gay men and women have no rights, Texas is prepared to enforce sodomy laws against men inside their own homes. Why? Because the majority of Texans say so. Justice Antonin Scalia, not exactly a hero to liberals, nonetheless once said, "Sometimes it's my job to tell the majority to take a hike." And he was right, but he's dead. And these people are in charge of your doctor, of your wife, of Well, stay tuned.
Now we know for sure.
Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe and follow us on YouTube at Really American.